Hey, New Day. We just got done listening to the press conference by the governor, and we've made the decision to suspend our Sunday morning services at Meeker for the time being. We're not sure exactly how many weeks that'll end up being. Right now, our expectation is that will probably be until Easter morning. We will keep you posted on that. But we are anticipating a number of actually really exciting things that can happen during this time. But it got me thinking about the whole concept of disruption. Mm-hmm. And that got me thinking just about your experience of the last 3 months, which for anyone who has not been in the loop on what's happened with Kevin, that was a recurring head injury that resulted in him being sidelined, well, basically housebound for about 3 months. Mm-hmm. And so I'm curious. It got me curious about your experience of that disruption, thinking about disruption for the church. And as we got talking about this yesterday, you mentioned that you had a visual that came to mind for you that kind of summarized the experience for you.
Sure. I've had a lot of time to sit, being with my head concussion symptoms and stuff, and I tend to think metaphorically, and I tend to think in illustrations and visually, and what it took me back to was actually back in high school. And in high school, I took a pottery class. I had a friend of mine who recommended, hey, you should take this, it's fun. So I tried it. And one of the things you do in pottery is it's kind of like this wheel here. You get a hunk of clay and you center it right on that thing. And it's kind of all warbly at first, and you squish it down and you get it exactly centered right on the middle, and it spins perfectly at that point. And then at that point, once you've started that centering process, so that's completed, you can start creating the cup, the bowl, whatever it's going to be. You start working on it.
Yeah.
But when a disruption happens, like if we were to go to that chunk of clay and it's spinning, all of a sudden it gets all out of whack. And you can't just continue working on the bowl or the cup. Things have to kind of stop for a second. It's almost like us when we're walking. If I were to do this to you, your initial reaction is kind of to hunker down a little bit. And that's the same thing. This illustration goes like that, where what has to happen is actually we have to kind of take that clay and recenter it back down onto the center of that table, onto that spinning wheel. And I think about that in the way that that's how it was for me, having my life disrupted. Just this God kind of nudging it or bumping it, and this opportunity to sit. And that's how I look at it. This is an opportunity that we're stepping into, and that was an opportunity I was stepping out of, to really center down and focus on God, as opposed to just trying to be all out of whack and keep going, because it wasn't working.
Right.
And I think when we have these disruptions in life, it's actually that opportunity that we are presented, that we can center down on God, step into His peace and trust Him that this is going to be okay. It may be hard, but that's the opportunity we're presented, I think.
I love that. I heard about another church that was talking about that had shut down their services before we did, and they really framed it up as going, this isn't just an interruption to the schedule. This isn't just something that is an inconvenience. This is an opportunity to see Jesus do something different and new through the process. And so I feel like I feel like there is a whole lot that we can lean into. I think with our DNA groups,
absolutely,
seeing more happen on a smaller scale. What I'm curious, like when you were sidelined, like was there anything that surprised you that God spoke to you about that, and that maybe you wouldn't have heard if things had just been going as they normally do?
Yeah, I think sometimes, for me at least, I tend to be an all-in type of person. I'm like, okay, let's do this, let's go. And I think in our society, our culture, we do a lot of that as well, where we are running so fast, so hard all the time. And when things are operating as they normally do, we often run right past the opportunities that God gives us. So sitting on the couch, recuperating, recovering, actually was an opportunity for me to slow down. And that slow down at first seemed like a nuisance and something I didn't want. And as much as I didn't want to be in that position, it was an actual opportunity for me to actually see more things around me and experience God in different ways and to step more into Him and less of myself and what I wanted, and to make peace with that. And it was actually out of that, I think it was me growing closer to God. It's that opportunity again that we're talking about, that I think we as a church will have this opportunity to step into slowing down or doing things different. And there will be all kinds of opportunities that God will give us out of it, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. So there will be a lot more information that is coming in the next week or so.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. But just a couple of things up front that we want to say is one, we're really committed to connection and care. And so people will be reaching out and making sure that you are well cared for and that your needs are getting met. I wanted to let you know that activities at the Hub will be proceeding as normal. So if you're part of a Bible study or youth group or anything like that, plan on those activities still taking place. We're also going to be opening up the Hub for just if you want a place to work virtually or hang out in the afternoon instead of a coffee shop, we're going to be making the Hub available in the afternoons from about 12 to 4. More details will come about that, but that's another opportunity, place to connect. If you're not already part of a DNA group, I want to encourage you to go to the New Day website and look at go to the DNA page there, and you can request to join a group, and we'll try to get you connected there. Also, if you are not receiving texts from New Day, we'd love to have you sign up for that to get on our list, because that's a more immediate way to get information out. So the code or the word to text is ND 2020, and you can text that to the number 84576, and we'll get you added to the list for that.
ND 2020 at 84576, just in case you missed it the first time.
So that's just a couple of things.
Yeah, I was just saying, we're going to be trying to communicate as much as we can, as best we can, as this goes, but it's a fluid situation with everything that's happening. But please be checking our website. We'll be doing flock notes via text. We will be communicating in various ministries, whether it's youth or women or men's or whatever it is, just about whatever we can to pass on to you, and also trying to help those connections. So we want to really be trying to do that well.
We would also love to share videos from the congregation of what the Lord's speaking to you about during this time. So if you have a thought that comes to mind, or a verse that's been speaking to you, or a prayer request, anything.
Or your DNA group.
Yes.
Something. Yeah.
Just take your phone, take a little video, and send it to info@newdaynw.com. And we would love to share that with the rest of the congregation on our Facebook group page. So if you're not a member of that as well, that's another thing to join. So lots of opportunities to stay connected during this time. Our hope is that we will be able to regroup as a large group for service on Easter morning. Wouldn't that be great to be able to come back together for that?
That would be awesome.
So
one last thing too that I just remembered was that I don't think we mentioned it. So Sunday mornings there won't be a set service, but we will have opportunities for you to click on, like a talk or a conversation
right.
like this, or maybe some worship music that we're going to kind of try and have continuity with, and be able to make an offering to you that we can still come together online, virtually, and worship and learn and be together. So look for those offerings as we're working this out.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be in touch soon.
All right.